Hello, hello, it's June Olson with Junebug Creations, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, coming to you live from Whitefish, Montana. And I thought it was prepared, and then all of a sudden I couldn't get out the papers that I needed to get out, so scramble! All right, so it is Thursday, therefore it is Thunderstruck Thursday, and I have something a little different for you. Not necessarily a big wow, thunder striking kind of thing, but just kind of one of those reminders that sometimes you don't need the whole suite to create awesome projects with it, okay? You can buy the whole suite, and by all means, if you love the whole suite, buy the whole suite. However, sometimes, me personally, I just like the paper. And so and maybe the gems and the embossing folder, which I forgot to grab, that's over there. So sometimes I like just parts of it, but not necessarily the whole thing, or feel like I can do enough with the parts that I don't need the whole thing. So let's take a look at that, okay, today. So I wanted to talk about the Turtley, we'll show you here, the Turtley Cute, I think that's what it was called. Turtley Cute Designer Series paper. So I didn't buy the whole set, and I guess I could probably show you, oh, if I knew where my catalog was. I don't know where my catalog is right now. It is still in all this mess. I haven't even had a chance to begin cleaning up from last weekend. So Turtley Cute is a stamp set, die set, DSP set, and gems. And there was a, let's see if I can grab it quick. I'll just grab my whole thing over here. There was also a embossing folder. All right, turtle textures embossing folder. All right, so it's all turtley. I don't know about you. I asked on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you like turtles? I like turtles. I think they're so cool. They're so ancient. And I love that idea that they have seen so much happen in their nice, slow pace here on Earth, not always kicking it up, going fast and everything, just taking it day by day. They can teach us a lot of lessons, I feel. So I really do like turtles. So I have a couple cards to share with you and make with you real quick. And I did all my fussy cutting. So here's the clincher when you just do the DSP and you don't do the suite or the dies, then you have to fussy cut. If you don't like fussy cutting, but you like these turtles, then I highly recommend you get the dies, because then you will have the dies that cut out a lot of, but not all of, the turtles. All right. I'm pretty sure it cuts out this one, but not with the ice cream. See, so if you want the whole thing, sometimes you have to do the fussy cutting. I don't mind fussy cutting. And I went ahead and did, I think, pretty much all the fussy cutting ahead of time so that you didn't have to sit here and watch me fussy cut. All right, so here are the papers. Let's just go through. I love this one. He's on his back, and I think this has a die as well. There's this one. He's riding the bike, which is the one that I have cut out. There's the little picnic basket. There's birds. There's flowers. There's ice cream cones. There's watermelon. It's a fun page. All right. And then this is the back, which I have also used. Let me put that on that side. Then there's this one. I didn't even think to grab those cards. I've made some other cards. I'll post them as a this or that. This, that, or the other. Let's see which one you like. So this one is super fun. It's got the sand castles. It's got the turtle with the turban on and the towel wrapped around her waist. And then it's got this guy going snorkeling, but he's not going to go snorkeling because he's actually got a floaty on. It's got the grill, the beach ball, the little crab, the little grill master. I've made a card with this one. And we might be making one again with him today. So super fun, super cute. You can use it as a whole layout, or you can cut them all out. It lends itself to both, just depending on what you're looking for. And then I love these stripes, and you can't really see it because I don't know what it is with my camera and the colors. Let's see if I can add some color in here. There we go. There's some color, but see, then I look crazy color. I don't know what the deal is. There we go. All right, so the turtles in here are Balmy Blue, Basic Black, Cajun Craze, Cherry Cobbler, Crumb Cake, Crushed Curry, Daffodil Delight, Darling Duckling, Early Espresso, Flirty Flamingo, Garden Green, Granny Apple Green, Gray Granite, Pecan Pie, and Petal Pink. A whole boatload of colors. All right, a whole boatload of colors. So they're super cute. Lots of fun. Oh, see, now those colors are all off. All right, let's go there. Okay, and then we have this one with the honey. She can collect the honey. He's going bird watching, and then we have lots of other birds and flowers, and then this one, gardening here. Love that, super cute. And then this fun green stripes. So this is greens and blues. Then we have the musical ones. We have the banjo player, the trumpet player, the... Ooh, that's not a harmonica. Ooh, what is that called? My goddaughter used to play that. Natasha used to play that. I can't think of what it's called off the top of my head. Goes in and out making all that music. No, not harmonica. It'll come to me. The drum, and then of course all the music around it. And then on this side is a fun turtle pattern, turtle shell pattern. This one's great. It's got, again, this guy, which I think the dies cut out this one and maybe this one. It's got some balloons, it's got cake, it's got party hats, it's got ice cream. This one's holding a present, this one's holding a cake, and then this one's holding the balloon, and this one you can put anything in his hand. Super fun. And the back side of that is yellow music notes, which turned out to work really good for for the scrapbook page I'm going to do, because it's October, so we're going to call it Croptober. And in my lives, I'm going to add in some scrapbooking along with the card making. I know a lot of you are more into the cards than the scrapbooking. We're going to do a combination of both. So then there are these little panels that you can add either into your scrapbooks or you can add them onto your card. And then you can add the characters from the paper. So like on this little beach scene, you could add this little guy and this gal right here. I'm calling that a girl. Although guys do wrap the towels around the waist, but very seldom do they put the turban around their head. So you could put those two here on the beach, and that would be lots of fun. And then you have the, let's see, the honey one. Oops, here we go. The one holding the honey could go with the beehives right here. So lots of different options that you can play with these full panels. All right, you can have the picnic baskets sitting here, and then you have some little pieces down here as well. Then you have a little married couple. I'm not sure what the stamps say in the stamp set because I don't have it and I don't have my catalog handy. So you can always check that out. Super fun, super cute. Let's go ahead and get started and do some cards. All right, so we have some pieces here. All right, and what I did for the sentiments, I just used the mix and match sentiments because that way I didn't have the stamp set, so I just grabbed all my mix and match sentiments, and that just made it easy. So I have a piece of Granny Apple Green cut 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Then I have a piece of Basic Black that is cut 4 by 5 1/4. Had to think for a minute. We'll go ahead and adhere that one. Let's see, is my glue gonna work? I don't have a pin over here. Let's see if that will do it. All right, let me grab a pin. All right, no pin. What is going on? Here we go. Let's try something else. Oh, there's no pin in there. Is there no pin in there? No pin in there. I don't have a pin. All right, so I'm going to squeeze here in the center because it's going to end up doing a big sploosh. Here we go, like that. And then, so that cleared out that block. There we go. Let me get a Kleenex, get that off. All right, and then what I like to do when I have to do that is I like to use this end, because there's a fat end over here, for those of you that don't know. Every time I do this, there's always someone who has absolutely no idea that that was there. So I kind of smooth it out. All right, so it's not just a big glob. And then look, I don't like to do that on my card, and I certainly don't like to do that live, but hey, sometimes it happens. All right. Usually I'll do that on a scrap piece of paper, but apparently I'm not as prepared as I ought to be today. So here we go. And then I cut this at 3 3/4 by 5 because it will fit perfectly right here with that border outline. So we're going to go ahead and glue that down as well. Here we go. And we can just do a squiggle in there. All right, so we're gonna layer that up. So this one's a very simple card. Then I took a piece of the yellow that has the music notes on it. Let's go ahead and zoom you in here. All right, so I took a piece of the yellow and then I just kind of cut it at an angle on the edge there. And we're just going to go ahead and put it across here. And this is the back side of the little birthday guy or birthday set. Put this down here like that. And then we're going to put this one on dimensionals. So I've got some right here. Oh, what's that from? I don't know where that came from. It's just one of those days. It's a crazy day. It's a crazy day. Made an appointment for Mom and I to get our hair done. Apparently I misread the time, so we're missing out on the appointment. Bummer. All right, so then we can go ahead and stick this on here like that, and it's got that little bit of yellow behind it. I'm actually going to trim that a little so that we can see more of that yellow. There we go. There we go. All right. So, good vibes sent your way. It's music. Good vibes works. I love that the mix and match is able to work for so many different things. So this is a great way to do this. All right, so there's one card. All right. Oh, and let me get my machine, because apparently I need to emboss. After all, I thought I had one, but I didn't know if I had pre-embossed it or not. Apparently I did not pre-emboss. All right, so on that other card, what'd I do with it? Hello. I just set it down. Here we go. You could add some gems. I feel like the music notes are enough to where I don't need to add any gems. So I'm going to leave that one without the gems. All right, and then we're going to use our embossing folder, and it is a standard embossing folder, not a 3D embossing folder. So when you can do this with your embossing folder, it's standard. That means you're not going to use plate 4. All right, that means you're going to use plate 1, plate 3, then your embossing folder with your paper in it, and the other plate 3. So let's go ahead and do our sandwich here. So we have plate 1, plate 3, our embossing folder with our paper. Where'd my paper go? go. All right. We're going to stick this in here like this. I love embossing. How much do you like embossing? Tell me embossing with an exclamation, or give me a heart for embossing. I love embossing. I love the way it looks, the way it changes the paper. I enjoy embossing. I think it just really gives all the cards just a little more pizzazz. All right, so that one went through, and look at that cool design. And you can use either one. You can use this side or you can use this side. Super fun. All right, so let's get this out of the way. I'm out of space, so we'll set that down there. All right, and here is the rest of my card ingredients. Like I said, I pre-cut a lot of these out. So this pool party is a 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. We'll go ahead and burnish that. And then this one is the 4 by 5 1/4, and it's going to be our layer right here. This is Granny Apple Green. It's hard to decide which side to choose because both sides look so cool. All right, so I'm just picking one, not even looking very closely because they both look so awesome and so close together that we'll just do it this way. All right, so we're going to put that layer there. All right, like that. And then I cut this striped paper, which has the watering can and the bird watcher on one side, and it is cut at 1.5 by 5 1/4. And we're going to leave a little bit of space over here. All right. So just like this. And like I said, I like to fussy cut. So I went ahead and fussy cut. Now this one I'm going to use on the envelope. All right. Well, that one's kind of at an angle. Maybe I won't use that one. Actually, we'll just cut it more so I can put him or her right here on my envelope. Just go ahead and do that. So I even use all the little cut pieces and cut them more if needed to make them fit on my envelope, or you could even do a fun, cute card where they're popping up. All right. Just make sure you don't get over here on the right-hand side. Keep everything over on the left-hand side, and the post office will not get mad at you. All right, so then I found this mix and match sentiment that said, "You are the icing on the cake." All right, so we're going to pop that up on dimensionals. All right, and then we have our little baker dude. So we're going to put him up on dimensionals as well. All right, and I got these fun card ideas from Michelle Litwiller. She used the stamp set and everything, and I decided I was going to use the paper. All right, so we're going to put him over here, and then we're going to add some dimensionals to this guy. And we're going to put some mini dimensionals over here on his feet so that they don't get smushed. And that way I don't have to cut the big ones. If you don't have minis, then you will need to cut the big ones. All right. Let me just check and make sure that I'm live. It says I'm live here, but let me just check and sure. Yep, I'm live over there. All right. Sometimes I forget that the computer might not show everything. So we're going to put him down here. And then he's going to hold this cake. So we're going to put a dimensional under this cake, and I'm going to use a mini one because the rest will be supported by his hand. All right, so lots of cake there. And then we're going to put our sentiment right here. We have a little party hat that I'm going to put a mini dimensional on. Just like that, and we're going to stick that on top of his head like that. And then we have, another cake. All right, and I figured I'd put that in his hand right here because you're the icing on the cake, and he's going to have lots of cake that he's holding. He's going to be holding 2 pieces of cake, or 2 full cakes. There we go, with his big smile. And there we have, you're the icing on the cake. Let's go ahead and throw, on my other one I have a balloon. We'll throw some of these on there. Let's see. All right, so we're going to use one of these darker ones because we do have this darker dude right here. So I'm going to put one there and one over, So we'll do one right here and one right here, and then we'll go with a different color over here. So nice and sparkly. All right, you are the icing on the cake. How fun is that? So the other one that I did, I added a balloon here and an ice cream cone here, and then it says, "You make life so rosy." All right, so 2 different ideas to use the mix and match sentiments along with our paper, right? So you can do so many different things with that. We'll set that aside, and then of course we added this to the envelope. Did I add anything to here? Oh, and this one, I added a half a dude that has the ice cream cone. All right, so you can use the half turtles, the half pictures, the half images on your papers to decorate your envelope. How fun is that? All right, so then we have another card. All right, so we have this card, and this uses some different colors. All right, and so we have our, I'm going to say that's Flirty Flamingo. Pretty sure that's Flirty Flamingo. Flirty Flamingo, and we're going to go ahead and emboss this. Let's move these out of the way. And here's the mix and match. What a milestone. He's on his bike, so he's going miles, right? I thought that was a great sentiment piece to go with the bicycle dude. All right, so then we have our piece of cardstock, the shaded spruce. We're going to do plate 1, 3, embossing folder with the paper in it, and 3 again. And run that through. There we go. All right. Then we have this one. Just love this embossing folder. All right. So here we go. We're going to put this down here with our glue. And remember, because it's embossed, you want to make sure that you get enough glue. You don't want a lake. You can see I'm still using squiggly lines. I'm not putting a big old lake on there. So we're gonna go ahead and line this up here like that. Right, then I have another piece, or I have a piece of this one that is what is it? It is 4 by 1.5, and we're going to butt that right up to this one. And it's not embossed, it's just got the look of the turtle. There we go. Butt it up against. There we go, just like that. Then we're going to take our arch from the arches and put dimensionals on them, on it. Just like this. I'm going to put one in the middle because I don't want it to sag. There we go. So lots of fun cards. I have one to show you that we're not going to make here, but I wanted to just kind of show you. We're going to put this a little bit over to the side here, like that. And then we have our fun little bicycle dude. It's like a tricycle. No, it's not a tricycle. It's got the 2 wheels. I actually saw one here in town the other day. Much, much bigger, of course. I don't know how he gets on it or off it for that matter, but it was huge, and he was riding downtown Whitefish on this bicycle, and I was just amazed. It was like, oh my gosh, how does he get on and off that cycle and not hurt himself? He was way up high. It was, I think it was last week during the farmer's market. All right, so let's go ahead and put this one on here. I knew I had a friend, or my brother had a friend in high school who was in my grade who could ride the unicycle, but not this thing. And I don't know what this thing is called because it's not a tricycle because it only has the 1 wheel. But it has that giant wheel in front and then that little wheel on the bottom. So we'll go ahead and put him right here. All right. And then, did I get everything out of my envelope? Okay. Then we have What a Milestone, and we're going to put that on dimensionals too. Let's see, What a Milestone. So we want this towards the bottom so that it'll go up the top a little bit without being wonky. Here we go. What a Milestone. So this can be any sort of congratulations card. We'll go ahead and put a couple of these on there. I'm going to use the lighter colored ones. Whoop. Oh, that's the wrong side. All right, here we go. Okay, and this one, and then we'll, whoops, we'll tuck this one over here. Oh, you can't really even see that one, can you? So I'm going to pop that off of there. We'll tuck it down here like a little rock. There you go. And the other one I had done, I did not yet have this embossing folder, so I had used this one, the paint textures, which is no longer even available. I think it's sold out. And then I had stamped You Are Magical from a different stamp set. I think this was from the mushroom stamp set is where that one came from. All right, so you can see the differences. You can use a stamped one or you can use a mix and match. I find these mix and match ones are so great and so versatile. You can use them anywhere. And then for the envelope, we're going to go ahead and do the flap. I cut a piece from my scraps that's 6 inches by 2 1/4 inches, and that is enough to cover your envelope flap without much extras. Okay, and it just worked. Even though I had a little blurb out of it here, it just fit. All right, so then we're just going to cut around here. Let's pull that down a bit. Looks like I got it a little bit high. Sometimes it's hard to see that fold, so you just have to watch it. and look close. All right, so do you like to decorate the front of your envelopes, or do you like to decorate the flap of your envelopes? Let me know. And how do you decorate the flap of your envelope? Do you decorate it with paper? Do you stamp on it? Do you do a combination, maybe? All right, so this one is a little too high, so I'm going to have to trim it because you don't want it to be higher than the envelope and show, but it's still all fit on. How fun is that? What a milestone. All right, so let's go on. Let's see. Here was one that I did. I did use this stamp set from, that sentiment from a different stamp set. Can't think of it off the top of my head, but I love how this came together. I went ahead and embossed this, and then I used the paper from the, use this little piece here. All right. And then I did You Make My Heart Smile. I stamped a couple of these little flowers from that other stamp set that I can't think of which one it is. And then I fussy cut this lady out who is watering her garden and added a few little gems. All right, and then I put behind it, I put the Granny Apple Green. All right, maybe you can see that. I seem to be having some trouble with my computer. It's not been cooperating today. So let's see. All right. So my last one that I wanted to share with you is a scrapbook page. All right. So I took a picture, I laid it out, and then I took a picture of it. So I need to pull up that picture because, there we go, because I want to make sure I get it right. So I want to make sure I get it the way I did it. So this is a piece of our two-tone garden green paper cardstock, and then I used a piece of this. So my son's high school colors were green and gold, so I used the garden green, and then I have the gold music letters, which are in the back of the birthday party one, and then I have the lighter side because we have the two-tone, so I'm using the lighter side of the green on this side and the darker one as my base. And we're going to put this right here. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. And in my album, I am using the green glue. I didn't used to use it, but for paper, I don't mind. For pictures, I tend not to use the green glue. That's just a personal choice. There's nothing wrong with the green glue on your pictures. I just choose not to use it for my pictures. I just use it for paper. All right, and then we're going to put the glue on the darker green side of this strip. And in case you want to know what the strip sizes are, let me tell you. All right, so the yellow is 2.5 by 11, and then the green is 1.5 by 11. All right, so let me back up so you can see it. Here we go. All right, then what I did is I took some little pieces, and this was the hay. This was from the Mix and Match sentiment pieces. And then I fussy cut a watermelon, a picnic basket, some flowers. I put dimensionals behind everything, some ice cream. I loosely fussy cut this because I wanted all the musical notes behind the drummer. And then I fussy cut this one because he's going to be holding one of those things. And then I fussy cut loosely the trumpet player because, again, I wanted those musical notes behind him. Then I fussy cut out the grill, This is one of the mix and match sentiments, Oh Happy Day. And then I fussy cut out the Grill Master. So I did all the fussy cutting because I didn't want you to have to sit here and watch me do all this fussy cutting. So I pre-planned that this weekend. Then I took some photo placement cards out of the scrapbook workshop kits that we have, and I created the background. So you can see this is the two-tone cardstock. So I used the two-tone cardstock and created a background for my picture. I did end up printing out just on paper. I won't glue these down because I want to put actual pictures, but I printed some out because sometimes I use these as placeholders versus this. So I wanted to just kind of show you what it would look like with an actual picture. So let's go ahead and cut these out. So it's just printed on paper, just so that I know which pictures I want. And then I need to send them in to get them printed. Oop. All right. And I probably didn't need to cut that. All right, here we go. You don't want to leave a white border because you're not going to have a white border on there. So we're going to go ahead and this person, we're going to cut this. Oh, keep using my other one. So what I do is I look at where are the main focus. So here are where the girls are. So I'm going to cut these pictures apart first, and then talk to you about how I pick what I put. So this one, I have a lot of backs to the camera, all right, because they were all goofing off around the fire pit and whatnot. And so I have a lot of backs to the camera. So I'm trying to decide, do I want to use it? I have 1, 2, 3 kind of, you can see him from the side. You can see that he's playing the guitar. So maybe we'll keep that. I have this one back, but then they're all open. Here I can see pretty much all the girls' faces. And here I just have one back, one side, and everything else. And there's nobody over here on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down. I don't need the whole tree in there. So I'll cut part of the tree off. And then I'm going to cut out all the rest of what's not needed. And then I can cut this down. I'm going to hold off on that until I see where I'm going to place it. But that's probably going to be a smaller picture just to have more of the kids from the band in the picture. So this was the band party at the end of the school year, the year that my son graduated, and we hosted it at our house. Got the dog in there. Let's cut off. Don't want to cut off the feet, just cutting off the white. All right. So there's that one. And then we have this one where we have most of the girls in there. So I want to focus on that because those are the people. And yes, I'm going to be cutting off some of her legs because I don't need the picture that big and there's nothing else there. And it's okay to sometimes cut people. I have a friend who used to cut people's parts of people's bodies off, and she'd always say, sorry, sorry, each time that she cut it. We'd be at a crop and all of a sudden I'd hear her say, sorry, sorry. I said, oh, cutting people up again? And she's like, yeah. So let's see, that's my husband back there. So we'll leave him in the picture. We'll cut down a little bit. All right. If you leave only what you need in the picture, then you have more room on your page for cutting for the pictures that you want. So we have these. I'm going to go ahead and cut some of this out because we don't need all of that grass. And I'm going to cut this little top off. All right, so now we've got 4 pictures that we can put onto this page, even though I had only planned for 3, but I think it's going to work out just fine. So these are smaller than what I had planned, and they're in the wrong direction. So here are my other 2. I had planned for a square one, a 4x4 and a 3x4, but these pictures don't always work that way. That's why I prefer to scrapbook with pictures, which was why I printed those out. So let's get our pictures figured out. And then that doesn't quite fit. That doesn't quite fit. We don't want to cut Millie off. All right, and then I was thinking I could even cut a little bit more of that, and that could go here and kind of cover this chair up. So we're going to cut just a little bit more off the trees. Right there. And then I'll be able to put this right here so that it is covering up that white chair. Do you see that? See the big white chair? No one's sitting in it, so I rather would do something like this. All right, so this would work, and this would work, and so then I would trim this down. I'm going to go ahead and glue those together because I know that's how it's going to be, but I'm not gluing the pictures to my green paper because I'm not using those, right? Here we go. So I know that I can trim down that paper like that. All right. And then I'm going to need a larger piece of the yellow, and I can always fix that, and then a smaller piece of this. So we'll go ahead and do that. So that will go right here. And I don't do typically a huge border on my pictures, just a little bit of a border. All right. And I think on this one, let's see. I don't want to cut my husband off because that wouldn't be very nice. And oh, look, I've got a bigger piece. So then we will put this here like this. All right. And that. And that. All right. So changed it just a little bit from my original setup, which is a-okay. I won't cut this until I actually have the pictures, but we can see how they'll go like that. And then we'll have this one up here. And then we can add in our little barbecue things. All right, so we have our little turtle over here. They were not called the turtles, they were the bulldogs, but that's okay. The theme is still the same idea. And then they were the band students, so we're using our little band characters. And we could even put this a little bit higher and stick him right here. And then we can do Oh Happy Day, because everyone loves the barbecue. We can put this down here. And then we'll have him hold the ice cream over here. Yeah, have him hold the ice cream over here. We can do some little flowers, not by the boys. Maybe we'll do the flowers over here by the girls. We can do hay and add in our little bit of watermelon. All right. And there we have a layout. Now you can also do some stamping. If I had music notes, I would do some stamping on the background. You can't really emboss the background of the page, but you can add some other stamping if you have it. So where is my... I can't find my zoomer outer thing. Where's my zoomer outer thing? Oh, it left me. It left me. All right, well. What is going on? Here we go. Having some computer issues, I suppose. All right. So, am I live? It says I'm still live. I don't know. I've been having some computer issues the last couple days. Guess it's time to ask the husband to take a look. So, thank you so much for checking this out. Obviously, no one is on right now live, but I know a lot of you will be able to catch this later after work as a replay. So make sure you put replay down below. Answer my questions as we go. As always, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think. Are you more cards? Are you more scrapbooking? Or do you do a combination of the two? So have a great rest of your Thursday, everybody, and I will see you next week. Oh, before I go, let me just remind you of a few things. Right now, Stampin' Up, and I was just about to post that before I went live, Stampin' Up is having the most amazing join offer. For $35, you can get 125 worth of product, or for $99, which is the usual amount, instead of the $125, you can get $189 worth of product. And I know that I talked to a few people this weekend who were very psyched about this opportunity. So if you're interested and you'd like to be a part of the Eclectic Crafters, let me know. I would love to chat with you and answer any of your questions. So we have the Traditions of Christmas class coming. That is at low inventory. All right, so make sure if you're wanting to do this, you get that ordered and you get registered, because you don't want to miss out. And the inventory is going low, so that means it's going down. I have not checked on the Christmas box lately, but if you have some crafty friends or want one for yourself, don't wait, because when this sells out, it's gone. It's not coming back. It's a while supplies last only. So make sure to grab one of these and get ready for some fun. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your Thursday. I will see you back here no later than Monday morning for Paper Pumpkin Playdate. Who knows, might pop in tomorrow. I have some fun stuff that I've been playing around with that I'd love to show you. Until then, see ya. Bye-bye.